Hi guys, and welcome to another how to play Star Wars Legion video. This time I'm going to take a unique twist on the how to play playlist here, and I'm going to build a list for a friend of mine. So he's relatively new to Star Wars Legion, and he has played a bunch of games with me a couple of times, so 4 maybe 5 games. And he's only played Rebels. He did say that he wanted to play as the droids to get a feel for them as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to build him a list, and this is going to be based on what you get in the starter set for the Clone Wars. In order to help us build this list, I'm going to be using Tabletop Admiral. There's a link to that in the description below. And before we jump into building this list, there is just hit the like button and subscribe button down below. Just don't forget to hit the little bell, because that really does help me out as well as the channel, and it means that you guys don't miss a video, whether it's Star Wars Legion or 40k or any other game, tabletop game that I cover here on the channel. So let's dive right in. So first things first, we need a solid commander, and we're going to be building to the standard army size of 800 points. So for this, we need 1 commander, so any of these 3 in this case, and at least 3 corps units. So in this case, either B1s or B2s or in any combination. Either way, we need a minimum of 3 from these 2 units in any combination, and 1 to 2 of any of these combination. So first things first, we need a solid commander, and it's down to how you guys or how you play and what your play style is, which comes from experience playing not just Star Wars Legion but Bolt Action, 40k, any other tabletop game or even role-playing game. Actually, you'll get to know your play style and how you play, and this is something that you can bring into Star Wars Legion. There is going to be a commander and an operative, for that matter, that will suit you in some fashion. So we'll go with General Grievous, because quite frankly he is a complete and utter boss. So he has 2. He can take up to 2 command card upgrades, 1 training upgrade, and 1 armament upgrade. So Grievous can take up to 2 of any of these in any combination, and up to 1 of any of this in this column for any one of these. That makes sense. But Grievous is a melee monster, as you can see here. So we'll give him tenacity. So the idea is that at the very least, he'll make his way into combat with something, whatever that is. And when he gets there, if he's wounded in any way, shape or form, by the time he gets there, or if he's in combat, he should hit a little bit hard. He should hit a little bit harder. The red attack die just gives you a higher chance to hit. After that, it doesn't do anything, is the honest truth. So the important thing is, when he's in combat, is A, relentless here, which allows him to fight, get a free attack action after you perform a move. So note this does stack with his pistol, his DT 57 Annihilator. So he can move, and then he can then perform a free attack action. So he can shoot his pistol twice if you choose to give it him. For the purpose of this video, let's not, although you can do if you want to in your games. So the other thing is he has his arsenal too. So when he's in combat, he can fight with the pistol, or he can fight with his lightsabers. As you all know from the films, he has a collection of 4 lightsabers, which he likes to brag about from fallen Jedi that he personally has slain. To be honest, don't use the pistol in combat because the pierce is much better. Even though you get it here, the fact is that it stacks, so you get pierce 2, whereas you only get pierce 1 if you use the pistol. It's like, what's the point, sort of thing. So lose the pistol in combat. If you ask me, no, I lied. The pierce 1 does stack. Critical 1 over impact 1. I guess it has some potential merit in combat, but keep things simple. Let's just go with the lightsabers. Each pair of lightsabers qualifies as 1 weapon when it comes to Grievous. So, if nothing else, if he just runs headlong into the nearest thing that is he can get his hands on to beat them up in combat, he can do so. If he's wounded along the way, then he can hit that little bit harder. So how that would work is you roll these 2 weapons together plus 1 red dice. It's not 1 red die per weapon, it's 1 red die to the entire attack pool as stated here. For the time being, we'll move on from Grievous, and we can go and add another, or we can add in another commander if we so wish, or we can add in something else. My recommendation would be this T-Series Tactical Droid, because he has a bolster 2, which is going to be really handy for units such as the BX Commando droids or droidicas, which I currently love pairing the bolster 2 keyword with, or the AAT tank that we all saw in episode 1, The Phantom Menace. That's where that tank comes from. I would recommend go with aggressive tactics and electro binoculars. So the reason is, so what I've done, I've set these models up so you can see the importance of having, in this case, a T-Series Tactical Droid, although this would work perfectly if you are a clones player, such as myself. So when you are issued an order with, when you put out your command cards, which we'll come to at the end of this list building, what you can do is with this T-Series Tactical Droid is when it's his action to go, or his turn to go through his face up order token, your first action should be bolster 2. I mean, it doesn't have to be the second action, but let's go with it's the first action. So when you do that, each chosen unit, up to 2 friendly units, this can go on B1s, B2s, it can go on any friendly unit in your army, as long as this is within range 1. Each of those 2 units gains 1 surge token. You cannot stick bolster 2 onto 1 unit and hope it gets 2 surge tokens, because it specifically says choose up to 2 friendly units and each chosen unit gains a surge token. So you can't go, well, I'll choose the droidicas here twice, and it doesn't work like that because it's 2 units, not 1. So the idea is we have the droidicas up front. They provide light cover to these droids here. This T-Series Tactical Droid is behind these crates, and the fact that these droidicas are here, if we had rebels or clones or whatever here, or even just here for argument's sake, because the droidicas are there in this direction, he gets light cover. So what we'll do is for his first action, bolster. His second action would be using the electro binoculars here, which is to give 1 friendly unit an aim token. So in order to make use of this, on the droidicas, which basically you could put, it's a good option to put them on there if they're in your list. Putting them onto any unit is usually going to be a fantastic idea, an aim token. there is not many units where an aim token is not helpful in some fashion, if any. So an aim token is always handy to have. So we'll put an aim token here because you're in range 1. Oops, and then that ends. So your opponent does their thing in their activation, and then you get your Droidica unit, whether it's got a face of war token or not, so you can draw it, whatever. And then you can shoot, or rather, I lie, take an aim token first if you don't want to move. So this will give you 2 aim tokens, and you got your surge. You can then shoot up to range 3, so 1, 2, 3. So anything up to this red line here. In real life, you're going to have your measuring tool for this. So you can still measure up to range 3. So you can pick a target, and then you can actually go and shoot with them, which will result in having 2 red dice and 4 black dice. And because it's suppressive, you can get you can put a suppression token on your chosen target before you roll, and then as long as you get 1 hit or 1 crit at least, then you put down a second suppression token. If you are smart enough, you can put linked targeting array onto the Droidicas, which then means that you can give them an aim token as soon as they have a order given to them. So for discussion's sake, we'll lose that for now, we'll grab that. So we could choose up to 3 units. So we chose, let's say, these tactical droids, the T-Series droid here, sorry, and then the 2 Droidica units here. Because they was issued a order, they get an aim token because of linked targeting array. He does his thing, so we go bolster here, bolster there, and we go with an aim token because of because of the electro binoculars. They can then do an aim action themselves, meaning they now have 3 aim tokens. So when they roll their attack dice, which we will do so for the sake of 1, 4. So this will be their collective output. So then we can go surge token to turn that into a hit. We can then reroll these 2 dice, meaning we got a full set. So we use the 1, use that. Yes, we still have 2 aim tokens going, but it's there just in case if we rolled abysmally, is why we have the aim tokens there. And then you can do the same on this unit. So when they shoot, so we'll end that, they can go aim token. So they've got 2 aims, and then they shoot. And ideally, you want to be shooting the same target to get those suppression tokens on that unit. So we'll roll. So that is your so far. And then, because you've got an aim token, you can re-roll these 2 dice for that. So far, we've got those 2 tokens spent, and we've got 1 extra, which aim can only be used in shooting or melee. So we might as well re-roll that. So yeah. So then that's 4 suppression tokens put down to 1 target, which when the average target has a courage value of 1, perhaps 2, depending on if it's elite special forces sort of idea, or if it's a character, then they might have 3 or 4. You can start to rack up some issues for that unit, and then if you pound them again with another unit, such as, let's say, these B1s, you can cause them to start fleeing if they are, say, stuck behind heavy cover. But that is how the T-Series Tactical Droid buffs these guys. When you are issuing orders, don't forget to direct Droid Trooper unit, so he can issue an order to these guys here as part of his ability. So because he's issued an order to them, they also get a surge token. No, I lie. Well, while you're the nominated commander, after issuing orders, choose up to 4 friendly units with face-up order tokens. Each chosen unit gains 1 surge token. So that can be across the table. In this case with droids, normally your command range is 3. The command, there's a upgrade card that turns it to, can make it to range 4. It's called Commanding Presence, like so. But with the droids, because you can data chain the B1s order tokens, you can technically put, if you have B1s, say over here, do I have color? So if you have them over here, you can put a surge token on that one because it has been given an order. So you can do weird stuff like that. So that's why I would recommend a T-Series Tactical Droid like this. If you're doing it for the clones, quite frankly, lose this, but use the generic clone commander. But it's the same concept, actually. Aggressive tactics, and then do it that way instead. The reason why I say lose the electro binoculars for the clones is because they can share their own tokens in a unique manner. There is a video on this in the playlist, How to Play Clones. I would highly recommend checking that video out to get a more a solid idea of what I'm referring to with that. So yeah, that's what I would go with for this T-Series Tactical Droid. Now, we all need a minimum of 3 Corpse Trooper units. So if we go with 3 simple B1 units, that will put us to already. That puts us to 5 units so far, with a grand total points spent of 352 as of recording this video. As you do, points may change, so this list may or may not be to 800 points or whatever if you're watching this in the future. So B1 droids are cool. They can pass orders along. There's a video on that actually as well in the How to Play series guide. So go and check that out if you wish to know how the coordinate droid ability works. So when it comes to B1s, there's 2 schools of thought. If you leave them as they are, so just no upgrades, they are currently 36 points. If you give them upgrades, then obviously that makes them more expensive, but you get less stuff overall. So there's a school of thought in that by not upgrading them in the slightest, you get more stuff anyway. But if you upgrade them, then you get better stuff, which is a general school of thought anyway. Now I'm thinking about it, but more so applies for B1s because they are cheap as chips. Also the phrase used to be, especially these days. So I personally like to upgrade them like this. Gives you 7 dudes with white dice, and then 3 black dice, giving you 10 shots, which expect to get average dice at best, to be honest with you. And I would replicate this across the minimum of the 3 squads. There are other weapon varieties, which include a rocket launcher, which is good for armored vehicles. And there is also, if I get tabletop handle to behave itself, there we go. There's also the radiation trooper, but there's this guy with a sniper sort of affair going on. If you want to sit back and shoot long range, then this is with your B1s, and this is the weapons for you. I like that idea. It's just not for me. You are paying an extra 2 points for the privilege to sit back and shoot with a longer range weapon. It's not a bad weapon, especially with critical one. It's just you need to decide if you want to do that across your units. I personally prefer this one. The last weapon is this radiation cannon trooper. I have not used it. I would like to at some point, but I have not used this, so I can't tell you what it's like. It is in the works to be used, I must admit. But to keep things simple, especially when you've got so many droids running around, so already here we got 24 droids, which are going to be swarming the battlefield, and that's just one unit, so you can see how much space that takes up. I mean, I could admittedly bunch them up closer, but when you got another unit here and another one there, you can start seeing it fills up the table quite a bit. So you want to keep it simple, and ideally to keep the game flowing, especially if you're doing or plan to do tournaments. Keep the game flowing, keep it moving quick, because Legion can get bogged down a little bit, just like 40k does. So you could go for B2s. There's nothing wrong with B2s. They are a bit more expensive. So let's go and grab a unit of B2s. So a unit of B2s is currently 45 points with no upgrades, just like this. And before we touch on the B2s, don't bother with these. There's these two unit upgrade choices. No point, it's just a waste of time and points. I would go something along the lines of this. Yes, you got shorter range than the B1s, but you are tougher in the fact you got 2 wounds rather than 1 per model. You have the armor 1 keyword that allows you to ignore 1 hit every time you defend. So you need 3 hits to kill a B2 outright, is basically how it works. Crits ignore the armor keyword anyway, so you don't need to worry. And you got an extra dude here, so you got 5 guys, giving you a total of 10 wounds, meaning you need to get 15 hits minimum in order to put down these B2s, assuming that there's no dodge tokens and you controlling the B2s roll really badly. So they're tougher, but you pay for it. So let's go with a singular unit of B2s. How this works is that because they are droid troopers, the coordinated droid trooper ability does benefit them as well. So we're up to now all in 503 points, so we're well over halfway. And we really haven't done too much as far as sorting out the core of our list. So if we go and add some units that actually benefit our list as far as making our lives much easier. So if we add in 2 units of Droidicas, which I refer back to how the Droidicas work, being able to stack on suppressive tokens onto one target, whether it's a hero, a commander, a operative, whoever that may be, or a unit, if it's near an objective. So yeah, that's really handy. Having 2 of those nearby is absolutely fantastic. So this puts us up to 673 points with a total of 8 units. So this gives us just a little bit more room to work with, and we still got to consider coming back to General Grievous in all of this. So what else could we could add? We could say add in a Federation tank, which will take us well over by 43 points. So we can't bring the tank. If you're going to enlist like this, I would say either drop Grievous and use the tank as your field commander, which you would need this guy as your pilot to do so, because it has the field commander keyword, or drop one, if not both, the Droidicas, or change things around a little bit to make it all fit in. There is a list out there on the interwebs that is based around 2 of these. I personally have not seen it, but I would like to look at that actually. So I'll include that list at the end of this video to give you guys an idea of what it actually contains. But for now, let's go with having another So let's go with these Commandos. So Commandos are actually really cool. They can move. They move too, just like your regular B1s and B2s can, like so. What's nice about them is the fact that they can scout 3 before the game starts. So when you've got them on the table, I'll use a couple of these 2 B1s as a proxy and example. I know this map in particular, the regular deployment zone comes to about there. So they can move 3. There's my leader. You go over there to there. I will need that though. So they can scout 3, which is entirely optional before the game starts. I have been known to forget about it myself, so it happens. So this is your number 3 movement tool. So you can go up to here, take your squad, with you, your commando squad with you right there. This is before the game starts. So then that's your scout 3. Your first order has to be a dodge or move of your choice. With the way we're going to arm this squad is going to be, you might as well take a move. So you can move 2, not that one. So 2 to here, which we'll just go simply to here. So already, as you can see, we are halfway up the table. Then you have your commandos dotted around here behind this tower. As an upgrade, take the sniper, because you might as well. And I guess tenacity. So the vibro sword adds on to the sniper model, so you don't need to worry about him fighting with a 1 black dice. He gets 1 of each. So the squad with their pistols and the sniper get to shoot. So you can pick a target, let's say clones over here, or rebels or imperials or other fellow droids if you so wish. Shoot them. Or what you can do is you can go, lose that, not that. I need to get rid of that before I end up going crazy. Lose that, move. Yeah, is the one. Lose the cohesion, there we go. Done. Or you can move, which is really handy with the, what's it? So I'll grab you for reference. So because you have the vibro swords, you can move into base contact, and remember your models have to lay flat like so. So then you have all your squad like so, dotted around your unit, ready to fight. And then you get to fight with one red dice and 1 white dice per model in the squad. So you have 4 minimum, perhaps 5 by the time you get there. If you lose a guy, then you get to roll a red and white die per guy in the squad who's left, plus 1 red die because of tenacity. So let's say, for discussion's sake, what else do you get on the charge? So after you complete a move action, you get to perform a free attack action, which is the really important bit for taking these vibro swords. So we got 5 of each. 3, 4, 5. So this is assuming that you don't have any models missing and you fight a unit of your choice. So 4 hits so far. Do you have? Not you. You have surge to hit. So the surges that I rolled. Cut this bit. As the BX Commandos have surge to hit, these two become hits. Oops. So we got 6 hits all in. So yeah, that is what you can go and do. If you lost a guy on the way, so let's say we lose one guy. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. So you got this. So you got 4 guys, because remember it's 1. So it works out like this. And then because we lost a guy, tenacity kicks in, and then you get 1 more. So you're only losing a white dice attack. And then you roll and hope you get a better hit roll than I did. But either way, you get 5 hits, which is still actually really cool. So yeah, that'd be my thing. As ever, I would avoid taking any grenades. Comms jammer could be potentially worthwhile in this case. It is 5 points, not 15. So the fact that in order to make the vibro swords, which are 6 points, really worthwhile, you do need to get into their face and to get into combat. So comms jammer might be worthwhile. I wouldn't take it myself in this case. Save those 5 points and put it elsewhere. So this currently puts us at 781 points with 9 units. Another option instead of, which I probably would be more inclined to go with, is the strike team with the poison bomb. So the strike team, which you get in the normal BX Commando Droids box when you get it, if you get one, of course, you get both the normal full team and the strike team. The same applies for the ARC troopers, for the clones, as well as the Rebel Commandos and the Galactic Empire Scout Troopers. All those 4 box sets come with enough models to make one full unit of X, and you can use the same models to make the 2-man strike team. You get in all those boxes, you get both data cards, so you're not losing out. It's not like you're going to be having to buy a second box, unless if you want to use a second unit, which you kind of should, to be fair. A good friend of mine, Denny, he uses the Rebel Commando with the proton bombs to great effect because they are absolutely fantastic, and I'm a little bit salty about it because I can't use them as well as he can. So I'm a little bit salty about it, but I'm honest about it, and he knows this, so it is what it is. But he's a good friend of mine, so, and he admits it, he knows it, and all the rest of it. So it is what it is. So if you're going to do this, I would probably be inclined to go with duck and cover, which allows you to bring a 2-man team who both have Commando pistols, which 4 white dice isn't anything to write home about. But if they get shot at the same time that you're applying your dodge tokens and cover, you can gain 1 suppression in order to count if you're in light cover, heavy cover, or if you're in open ground, to count as in light cover. So it's really handy, and you've got the courage value to go and do it once, basically, without an issue. So yeah, this combination here is exactly, as of filming this video, is 100 points. So let's stick with this. This gives us 773 points out of 800. We could add in vibrosauls, but to be honest, we don't want to be in combat. We want to be dropping these poison bombs. We could add in these shields if we want to, and for 18 points, that brings us to 791. It gives us 2 shield tokens, which gives us that little bit extra durability. So 2 more wounds, as it were. But you do need to do a recover action in order to flip or to recover those shields. So it takes an action to get them back. That's down to you guys personally, how you feel about that. I personally don't like that particular wording. I much prefer this one, the generator variant, where you at the end phase, so when all your units have done their actions, and by all your units I mean both yours and your opponents, you can flip a shield token back. In this case, generator 1 allows you to flip back 1 inactive shield token. This is my preferred way of doing it because it doesn't take up an action at all. So on that basis, I will not take the deflector shields. So without those deflector shields, we are talking at 773 points. We are not going to be able to get another unit in, but that gives us enough room to upgrade, let's give some more upgrades to General Grievous, or even swap him out actually, if we so wish. So some of General Grievous's command cards, which don't pop up here, but you can find these on Tabletop Admiral anyway. Like I said earlier in the video, the link is in the description below if you want to go check them out. So when we are fighting in combat, because that's the whole point, General Grievous's specific command cards is Trained in Your Jedi Arts, Supreme Commander, and Crush Them. So in his nominated commander, it'd be nice to have aggressive tactics, but generally, if you're going to be issuing orders like commands, then you want it from the T-Series Tactical Droid, not Grievous, because he's going to be target number 1. So you could leave him as he is, and then fill in some more upgrades here or there, or do what I like to do, and what I'm liking at the moment is swap General Grievous out for Darth Maul, and add in the Sith probes, which we'll have to add in all the way down here. So the Sith probes only come with Darth Maul. There's no point in upgrading them at all. Just leave them as they are for 35 points. Darth Maul, on the other hand, is where it's at, because it gives you 10 units rather than 9. That's okay. Currently, as it stands, with no upgrades on Darth Maul, we're at 794 points. So the trick is to try and get decent upgrades without going over A, 800 points, and B, you want as many points spare as possible in order to try and guarantee you'll go first in, not first, but being the blue player, which then helps you out because you can fight on your terms easier. So if we went with Tenacity on Darth Maul, so that is a 4-point upgrade card. So already we're at 798 points. So we need to be really careful on how we go about Varieties. So this is how I would build Darth Maul. This is a slight variation of what I did am currently doing in one of my games, which I'm playing with a good friend of mine who I'm actually building this list for. Instead of Tenacity, instead of Force Push, I took Anger instead. So if and when he is wounded, he can take a aim token. Instead, I went with Force Push, which would be a much better option because he doesn't have Charge or Relentless. So because of that, it's important to try and get to Darth Maul close to the enemy, and having Force Push allows you to grab a unit and drag it closer to him. So it means that you can grab a unit, drag them into close combat without having to spend one of your 2 actions, and then you can fight with your first action, or rather take an aim token, then fight would be better. So there's that, and then Force Reflex to gain a dodge token. Tenacity, as we talked about before with General Grievous, is certainly viable on him. So when he takes a wound, because you can take a wound with one of his Darth Maul's command cards, it's called At Last. So you're going to get that extra red die. So you can throw 5 red dice and 4 white dice with Impact 2, which only affects units with armor. Well, the armor keywords would be better. And the Pierce 2 as well, which is always really, really handy. So you can do that. So currently, as it stands, we are now 813 points over. So that means we are literally 13 points over, as I said. So we need to be at least 800 points. So easiest solution is lose a B2 battle droid here, giving us 4 models in this squad. Or better yet, lose the B2s, put in another unit of B1s, identical. That gives us 790 points. So that gives us 10 points to play with. And then if you fancy, not tiling scopes, it was so electro binoculars is still 8 points, so that puts us to 798. Some of your opponents will try and get below that, but as close to 800 points as possible. It is a learning curve. Alternative to electro binoculars for the TTS tactical droid would be nothing, in all honesty, because this is all you need on him. Just don't bother putting 2 tenacity on there. It doesn't stack as far as I'm aware. Please let me know in the comments below if it does. Offensive push could be a useful upgrade for Darth Maul. That would give you a total of 794 points, which is not a bad bid of 6 points to go and be the blue player. So, like so, but yeah. So this is probably something that I would actually go and use myself. Just don't forget that Darth Maul doesn't have Master of the Force in any way, shape, or form. So when you do use these cards with the giant arrow on it, you need to do a recover action to do that. A recover action allows you to recover, in this case, all 3 of these cards, and allows you to try and shrug off some suppression tokens. So that would actually be something to consider. So yeah, all in, I would definitely go with something like this. Is actually a nice list, I must admit. So command cards, that's also a really good and important thing we need to consider. So command cards is actually really handy to have because it benefits your list in different ways, and you can alter the way you play. So as I said before, you can find all these command cards on Tabletop Admiral. As I said before, the link is in the description below, which I would highly recommend looking at. I have nothing to do with Tabletop Admiral in the slightest. It's just a fantastic army builder for Star Wars Legion. And if you want to throw the guy a couple of dollars or pounds or whatever your local currency is, your part of the world, then by all means, it's well worth it. If you ask me, it's absolutely fantastic. So his being Darth Maul, his 3 command cards is Jewel of Fate, which is actual named after the song the soundtrack rather, that was played during Darth Maul's fight with Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn. It's a really nice song, if you ask me. So that's a 1 pip card. I'm not going to read through his cards, but it's worth having a look anyway because it's actually really handy. Then you got the Phantom Menace as a 2 pip card, which is here. So the Phantom Menace, I like the name of. It's a nice touch to the actual film itself. Whether people like it or hate it is irrelevant. I like it, so shoot me. So he can infiltrate with his probe droids if he so wishes. And his pip 3 is At Last, which is the card I referred to when he activates, he may take a wound. And when you use this card, he gains 1 aim token and the Jedi Hunter keyword. The Jedi Hunter keyword is that when he fights a unit with a force power upgrade, which, where are we? Here. So with this symbol here, okay, sort of weird explosion sort of icon, then he gains Surge to crit against the units with this upgrade card. It doesn't matter if it's been expended, as long as that card is equipped at the start of the game. Against that unit, he gets this keyword, and that lasts for that entire battle round. So we took all 3. Other cards we can take and should take. Number 1, my favourite, is Orbital Strike. This is usually my opening card for the game, trying to get a couple of suppression tokens or wounds on a unit from the other side of the table at the start of the game is kind of hard to do, but being able to do this is fantastic because most of your stuff is going to be more than range 4 away, or range 4 or further away, so it's a really good card to use. So it does say friendly commander droid trooper unit. In the droid army as a whole, it's literally him. He does it. Or a unit with the field commander keyword, which would be this guy, because he has the field commander keyword. So him or him can do it. General Grievous doesn't. General Grievous, Count Dooku, Cad Bane, and Darth Maul don't qualify because they're troopers. Okay, so that's a really good card to have. So the other one I would definitely recommend looking at is a 3 pip card called Roger Roger. 3 droid trooper units, and when they're issued an order, take a dodge or a surge token. Surge tokens on droids, hit or miss, literally. Dodge tokens could be beneficial, so it's always worth taking. And mechanized incursion as well. So 1 pip card. That is a pick a vehicle unit, it's issued an order, and then a friendly droid trooper unit at range 1 to 2 also gets an order from that vehicle. So droid trooper does not include Darth Maul or Count Dooku or General Grievous or Cad Bane because they have trooper keyword, not droid trooper. So it's important to note the distinction. So we'll take that. And then the last bit is the battle plans. So this is going to be how you play and what missions you play. So the standard ones are for objectives is key positions, which is so these are the standard 4 missions which you can play. You can change them out as well as deployment zones and the conditions. These will be chosen pre-game, so before you turn up, or before you start playing, and before obviously you see the table. At tournaments, you do this before you turn up. So yeah, so this is generally how you want to go about it. I personally don't like the long march, so I'd put in any of these, to be honest. So let's go with that. So yeah, breakthrough is literally just trying to get off the table. So easy doable with your Droidicas. Just keep going and going and going. So yeah, that's the list as a whole. So let's go spawn the models, which for a 10 unit list with 794 points, you have a good chance in being the blue player. So we got the assassin himself, Darth Maul. Then we got our T-Series Tactical Droid with 1, 2, 3, 4 units of 8 battle droids. We got our leader with the yellow head. 2 units of Droidicas. Then we have units of 2 Commandos with the bomb. And then we have the 3 Sith probes, which we'll put here. So yeah, it's a very nice list. I've never gone against Droidicas myself. I'm always the one taking them. So how would I go about fighting this list? I am not sure. It's simple enough, to be honest with you. It's based on the starter set. So you get 2 units of B1s and 1 Droidicas unit. The rest are optional. So optional are additional purchases. But yeah, the easiest way you could go about doing this, it would be to, if you have a friend who also likes clones, is to buy 2 starter sets, and then so you get your 4 B1 battle droids here, and then you get your second units of Droidicas. So any things you got to get is Darth Maul, because the Sith probes come with him. The T-Series Tactical Droid, which is his own standalone upgrade pack, and these Commandos. Duck and cover, offensive push, tenacity, and aggressive tactics comes in your starter set. Tenacity, offensive push, the force powers, and duck and cover come in the upgrade card pack, which is always handy to have because that comes with a ton of stuff which you can always make use of no matter what army you're playing. So depending on how many force users you're running at any one time or what upgrades you're running, it might be worth buying 2. Certainly 1, because it adds so much more flexibility. So that is my recommendation for a droid army, which I will give to my friend, and we'll see what happens. But generally, that is how you build a list, because don't forget, in order to claim objectives, you need a unit leader to be in base-to-base contact, and it does usually take an action to do something. So in this case, droids being droids, there are many of them that are cheap and plentiful, but if you've got a objective marker, say we'll use this guy here, you can have your Droidicas hammer down 4 suppression tokens onto it. If it has 1 action, then it will be forced to do the action to claim the objective, to disable something, to repair something, meaning the controlling player has to make a choice whether to try and keep that unit alive, or say through dodge tokens, or move it away from the objective, or sacrifice them and do the action to go and try and win the game, which then you can get your in this case your Commandos to toodle up and go, oh look, I'm in name-based contact, dibs, basically. So hopefully that this video has been really helpful. This sort of principle can be applied to the clones as well, the rebels and the Galactic Empire. How you go about Fielding your list is down to basically what you feel. You can make thematic lists. So you can do a Techno Union sort of style with the droids by swapping out Darth Maul for Count Dooku. If you're playing as a Galactic Empire and you want to do a what's it called, a Scarif themed list, then you can use Director Krennic and a bunch of Shore Troopers. If you want to do a Hoth sort of idea, then Darth Vader and a ton of Snow Troopers. You don't have so there's nothing thematic, like thematic themed lists which you can use in Legion in that regard. Unlike say in Bolt Action, where it's based on specific fighting eras. So if you want to do thematic stuff, then that is entirely down to you. So yeah, I hope this guys has been actually really helpful to you guys. If you like this video, then please hit like, please hit subscribe. It really does help me out as well as a channel. Don't forget to hit the little bell icon when you subscribe, because then you guys don't miss a video at all, whether it's Star Wars Legion, Bolt Action, 40k, Age of Sigmar, Blood Bowl. I'm also potentially going to be venturing into X-Wing and Armada as well. So in theory, they should soon be popping up on the channel, which I'm quite excited to look into actually as well. So there's always going to be something interesting going on here in the channel. So thank you very much guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.